will be coming out hopefully next year because it takes time to sit down and write. I have gone into my office at home and I have sat down and started writing, working, and researching. I have sat down at 8 o'clock in the morning. I've watched my wife tell me she's leaving for work at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I've seen her come back in my office about 3 o'clock and say, "You want something to eat?" I'm thinking she's home from work and it's dinner, but it's 3 o'clock the next morning. I have worked that long. Okay, so there's a lot of research in it, and it's time consuming. Once you get into it, you'll find yourself working real hard. So I would say to Maya, now we get ideas. And how do we get ideas? I believe that ideas, your best ideas, show up in the middle of the night. So that's why I keep a journal and a pen on my bedstand, on my nightstand. Because sometimes in the middle of the night, I get this thought. And this is the way I perceive it. I'll get a thought, and I'm sleeping. I'm like, well, okay, I'll get up and I'll write that thought down. But that real provoking thought, the one that really counts, is the one that makes you wake up. Okay, I wake up, I have woken up, I've written it down, and I couldn't go back to sleep until I've gone downstairs, back to my office, and opened up the manuscript that I'm working on, and I'll read through it, and I'll say, this is where the thought that I just have, and I'll invoke it, I'll put it, implement it in that little spot. So if you have a thought, you have to write it down. Because if you don't, it'll be gone forever. You will never remember what you thought about at 3 o'clock in the morning when you were sleeping. So that's why a challenge.
I want to read.
You love to, see, I'm going to tell you something. Reading is key. Reading is your comprehension. Reading is what's going to make things happen in your life. And that's why we write, so we can read. So other people can read your ideas, your thoughts, and your imagination. Yes, sir. Outstanding. I'll tell you something how you do that, too. You know, when my son was growing up, he used to come to me, and he would say, "Daddy, would you read me this bedtime story?" And I used to read them to him, but then I thought about it. If I want my son to be an avid reader, if I wanted him to really know how to read, I flipped the switch and I made him read me bedtime stories.
What?
That's right. My son would read me bedtime stories, and now he's an avid reader. Okay, he loves to read, and that's a real secret. The more you read, the more you want to read. You understand? Yes, sir. You want to do what I do? You have to go to school. You have to pay attention. You have to learn. You have to absorb, and it all starts right here, right now.
We got a book about Lewis and Clark and with Sacagawea.
Outstanding. Do you have you read about Lewis and Clark?
Yeah.
And you know who was Lewis and Clark?
Yeah. They African American.
Not really. Yes, sir.
They travel and they're alike, but they travel.
Outstanding. They were explorers. When I first read Lewis and Clark, I thought it was my neighbor because his name was Lewis, his brother's name was Clark. So I was just talking about them. I was just a little guy. What do I like about my work? I like the peace of it. It's peaceful. So I do most of my writing in the early morning hours. I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
And I usually lay down about noon to get some rest. But it's just peaceful. I enjoy being able to sit and be creative. Speaking of things.
Thank you, sir, because you made her day. She was wanting to meet an author so bad.
Okay.
And you came right on in and made her day. She can talk about this forever.
Oh, yeah, we're going to work with that, okay? We got it. All right. Let me tell you.
All right.
Bye-bye, everybody.